Jeffrey Epstein.
Jeffrey Epstein.
Jeffrey Epstein.
Jeffrey Epstein.
Jeffrey Epstein.
It's just very strange for a lot of people that the list of clients that went to the island has not been made public.
Yeah, it's very interesting, isn't it?
So if you're able to, you'll be...
Yeah, I'd certainly take a look at it. This is a Democrat hoax. Yeah, I'd be inclined to do the Epstein. I'd have no problem with it.
He is now calling it a Democratic hoax.
The Epstein saga is not a hoax.
Evidence that shows that Epstein was a creation of either Mossad, Israeli intelligence, American intelligence.
But the bottom line is the records are getting out.
The president says then a politicized hoax.
What the hell are they afraid of?
2 years ago, we talked about releasing the Epstein files. Last night, I was shocked to hear that you voted against releasing the Epstein files.
You got a lot of people that it could be mentioned in those files that don't deserve to be.
And you're really calling the women who were in tears talking about in junior high a hoax? How demeaning.
Wait, what?
It could be mentioned in those files that don't deserve to be.
And you're really calling the women who were in tears talking about in junior high a hoax? How demeaning, how insulting.
In junior high?
In junior high, some about 13, 14 years old.
No, wait, so... Damn. Them little niggas was like 13, 14 getting sent to that island? Oh, nah.
I wanted to look into the Epstein file cover-up, but I didn't want to risk offending the president or doubting the FBI director's official narrative or making our politicians feel uncomfortable by asking too many questions. You know what? Fuck that. I'm not apologizing for anything. It's time to go gloves off. These people are lying to us, and I don't care whether it's Biden, Kamala, Trump. If you are in charge of our country and you're hiding, protecting a billionaire sex trafficking ring, then we, the people, are coming after you and have every right to demand the answers. In fact, we pay each and every day with our paycheck to demand answers and accountability from you. And our president, Donald Trump, actually talked about the Epstein files. Here's what him and his administration said before they won the election.
Yeah, I'd be inclined to do the Epstein. I'd have no problem with it.
Seriously, we need to release the Epstein list. That is an important thing.
It's pretty sick what that man did. 200 victims, well over 250 actually.
Who has Jeffrey Epstein's
Black Book?
Black Book?
FBI. As a former number 2 in the IC, they overclassify 50% of the stuff there to protect the deep state. Oh no, you can't see that, nothing to see here.
And now that these people are in power, here's what they are saying.
Look, the whole thing is a hoax. It's put out by the Democrats because we had the most successful 6 months in the history.
How much you want to bet he's on that list? Tell me the one of the richest niggas in the world, or in the U.S. wasn't hanging around with Epstein?
Of our country. This is a Democrat hoax that never ends.
20 years ago or whenever.
Oh yeah, this is a lie, by the way. I'm lying.
7, 8, Epstein gets his sweetheart plea deal, right? I wasn't in power there. I wasn't in place there. I had, nothing to do with it. But
Are you still talking about Jeffrey Epstein?
I put out a poll on my YouTube channel.
He's smart. This man is smart. That is grade A manipulation, dog. Bro, you're still talking about the Epstein? Yo, this nigga's
And 115,000 of you replied. And 96% of you said that the government is a bunch of filthy liars when it comes to the official narrative on the Epstein story. So me and my team boarded a plane and we flew to Washington, D.C. to launch a full-scale investigation. In doing so, we talked to United States senators, guys like Chuck Schumer, Ron Johnson and Rand Paul, as well as representatives like Nancy Mace, Hank Johnson, and the man that's leading the charge to push for transparency, Representative Ro Khanna. Furthermore, we joined forces with one of the top conspiracy theory experts on the internet, Mr. Ian Carroll, and we also spoke with a guy by the name of Mike Yeagley, a man who works with all of your favorite 3-letter agencies and claims to have seen a version of the Epstein files himself. We get into this and much, much more. We are here in Washington, D.C., the beating heart of where it all goes down. And today we're looking into what might be the biggest cover-up in American history, the Epstein file list. The fact that the elites, the billionaires, the well-connected might be in a ring right before our eyes, and they are lying to our face about it.
This is a Democrat hoax. They're trying to get people to talk about something that's totally irrelevant to the success that we've had as a nation since I've been president.
And I want you to suspend your tribalism for a moment. I don't care if you're Democrat, Republican, or somewhere in between. This is about the truth. This isn't about one party or the other. I actually think they're probably both complicit in this. We're gonna get to the bottom of this because I think this is very important. So join me as we question, and we do one of the most American things there is, which is to question authority, demand the truth, and get the knowledge out to the people, we the people, who fund all of this. Let's begin.
Bro, I'm at a honey mustard.
My name's Ian Carroll, and I'm an independent journalist, researcher, content creator, and my slogan is follow the money, seek the truth. Jeffrey Epstein was an unqualified math teacher for the wealthiest of the wealthy, that then got recruited to be an unqualified banker, that then kind of failed out of banking during a scandal, and somewhere in there he got hooked up with human traffickers and blackmailers and started what appears to be the world's largest known sexual blackmail trafficking ring.
There's no fuck.
One of the guys leading the charges of encouraging the government to release the files is Representative Ro Khanna from California. Ro Khanna, a Democratic congressman representing San Francisco, is co-leading the charge with Kentucky Republican Thomas Massie to force a release of the Epstein files. Seen on popular podcasts like Theo Von and Flagrant, he is a politician who is determined to be transparent. He's coming to the Airbnb. Bro. Hey, good to meet you. How are you?
Good to meet you.
Thank you for coming through.
I'm Ro. Good to meet you.
And he had this whole scheme where if you were rich and if you were powerful, you basically got away with assaulting girls. And then these rich and powerful men said, what are you going to do about it?
Proceeded to blackmail most of the most powerful people all around the world, which now is the story that's broken all over everyone's newspapers and Twitter feeds. And he took that blackmail ring straight into the White House and visited Bill Clinton 17 times in the White House with the likes of Robert Maxwell and Ehud Barak, directly linked to the Israeli government. And Leslie Wexner bankrolled Jeffrey Epstein. And that's not just a matter of speech. He signed over power of attorney to Jeffrey Epstein. So Jeffrey Epstein could have sold Victoria's Secret on behalf of Leslie Wexner.
So this nigga went from being an unqualified teacher to was it like unqualified bank or some shit, and then randomly getting recruited to work in a traffic ring. How the fuck do you like how does that even begin, bro? What's good, Uncle Weed? How you doing? Bro, what the fuck? And then this nigga gets so powerful that he could basically rule over any fucking celebrity in the world. Like if they ever release some files, bro, that the world might go into chaos. I don't know.
I gotta say, I don't wear a suit often anymore, but I feel at least 10 IQ points higher right now. I feel good. I feel quite patriotic today. Getting the chance to talk to our elected officials and demand accountability, to me, is something that makes me very proud to be an American.
Yo, Uncle, is that Tommy G? Yeah, so this is him investigating the Epstein file cover-up. We're like 7 minutes into the video so far.
So we're here with Representative Nancy Mace, one of the people that is leading the charge to expose the Epstein files. Let's just start with the basics. Do you think Jeffrey Epstein killed himself?
Well, we don't have the camera evidence. Wasn't the angle of the camera, wasn't there?
I have no reason to believe that he didn't.
You don't think that there are suspicious details surrounding his death?
I do.
Security cameras magically going off, the security guards falling asleep, being on side watch but still having access to material.
Yeah, I think there's suspicion, and I think we've got to keep getting the files out. But that may be something we never are able to figure out.
This is Mike Yeagley. He's an independent contractor, data analyst, and security specialist who provides critical intelligence support to elite military units and to the three-letter agencies that everyone watching this is familiar with. In other words, Mike's skill set is that in real time, he can track the location of nearly anyone in the world using specialized methods, and three-letter agencies hire him for this reason. He says that his possession is a version of the Epstein files, and he speaks on his theories based on the information he's reviewed.
School teacher without a degree that magically got worth hundreds of millions, if not billions of dollars.
It's kind of like Congress.
What the fuck?
On his theories based on the information he's reviewed.
School teacher without a degree.
So he was teaching middle school, no degree, and then ends up trafficking kid. Yeah, I ain't gonna lie.
That magically got worth hundreds of millions, if not billions of dollars.
It's kind of like congressmen that come to Washington with a net worth of $100,000.
Nah, he do, bro. All of his journalism videos are so fire.
Net worth. How did that happen?
Excuse me.
Who is Ghislaine Maxwell?
She was the madam. She was the one female that could talk to an impressionable 15-year-old girl who wanted to be a model for the Limited.
Basically grooming these young girls and bringing them to Epstein. She was there recruiting more junior high and high school students for Epstein.
Way.
She was part of the abuse. And for her to now get pardoned is a slap in the face of every survivor.
Do you think it's possible that that's going to happen?
This president is capable of...
There's no... Wait. Ghislaine Maxwell. Oh my gosh. You're so guilty of 20. You're telling me she only got 20 years for trafficking kids. There is no way in hell. Born in France, was arrested, charged in 2020. You're telling me it took them that long for her to get charged, bro? She was denied bail as a flight risk for the judge. She was convicted on 5 out of 6 counts, including 1 trafficking with a minor, and She faces a second criminal charge about Epstein. So hold on. So what happened after she got arrested and shit? She looks like a homeless woman you can see on a Columbia. Oh, bro. Oh, look, she gotta do a little. Oh, she look like she. I ain't gonna lie. Nah, you gotta be on something after that. 2025 release of transcripts. On 22nd of August 2025, the U.S. Department of Justice released transcripts and recordings of interviews with. And they have the interview. So this would be the interview. They interviewed her for 2 days. Oh, you could dead ass listen to that shit. Whoa. On the 23rd of July, 2025, Chairman James Comer of the U.S. House Committee on Oversight and Accountability subpoenaed Maxwell to testify under oath about her involvement with Epstein. She answered on the 29th of July through her lawyer and demanded immunity from further prosecution. Nigga, you traffic kids. Why do you want immunity? What happened? I took a nap. We're watching a video about a guy investigating the Epstein files. What the fuck? Had lately peaked at on the 50th birthday. Trump immediately filed a $10 billion lawsuit against him. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. Wait. On the 29th of December 2021, Maxwell was convicted. Excuse me. Oh my gosh. Maxwell was convicted by a jury in U.S. federal court on 5 trafficking-related counts, carrying a potential custodial sentence of up to 60. That's it? You're telling me somebody who was an accomplice, supposedly, to trafficking a bunch of underage women, probably men or underage girls and boys, was only going to get 65. Nah, bro, you got to give him life. Life, no parole, bare minimum. 1 of transporting a rider with the intent to engage in criminal activity, and 3 of conspiracy to commit chote felonies. Huh? As used in American law means complete or perfected in. What? I've never heard of that word before. To commit complete felonies. Maxwell was acquitted on the charge of enticing a minor child to acts. Maxwell family said that appeal process had begun. The only witness to use their real name during testimony. Farmer spoke out of the trial saying, I hope that those with great power and privilege will be held accountable when they. Literally, bro. And you're telling me supposedly she only got 20 years. Is it the J guy? I don't know. Jeffrey Epstein. Yeah, this is we're talking about Jeffrey Epstein here. And supposedly this is his accomplice. So if you've seen the Squid Games, you know about like the suit dude at the subway who be like playing the red and blue game with the people to try and get them to hop into the games. No, he didn't only do that. He didn't only do that. By the way, it didn't get posted because he put the R word, but he ran like a system that like sent these kids to other people so other people could like, you feel me? Like, and supposedly, wait, how many? Ghislaine Maxwell get? She only got 20 years. 20 years. The accomplice to Jeffrey Epstein, well, probably one of her accomplices, is only facing 20 years. That is fucking incredible. And then she is. That is so fucking crazy. Relating Epstein to Squid Games is insane. Yeah, Epstein is dead, but her accomplice isn't. No, this is like I said, she was the recruiter, like in Squid Games. Jeffrey Epstein was like the front man. You feel me? Like, I don't know all the facts, but that's like the easiest way to break this down right now. Like, yo, that is, you know what? I might watch an entire documentary on this.
The Epstein file. Something is there that's forcing him not to release it.
Ghislaine Maxwell is the daughter of Robert Maxwell.
Her dad was an interesting character. There's no doubt about that.
Now, Ghislaine Maxwell was Jeffrey Epstein's partner in crime that made this business work. And she has a very interesting background. She's pictured here with her father, Robert Maxwell, who happened to be a media mogul, a textbook publisher, a known asset of Mossad, and he died under very suspicious circumstances.
He is very.
We don't know. The official files has never been released.
Through most of his life. Robert Maxwell was in publishing. He was a publisher, a power publisher, and his operation very much seems to be an influence operation focused around information and publishing, largely textbooks, the educational stuff that we all grew up reading.
So it's possible that the social studies book that I read in class in 5th grade, that Robert Maxwell, Ghislaine Maxwell's dad, Jeffrey Epstein's father-in-law, in a way,
yeah,
had a hand in?
Oh, absolutely.
Yes, you heard that right. Robert Maxwell, Ghislaine's father, was a textbook mogul whose company, Macmillan Inc., made a joint venture with McGraw-Hill, and this partnership...
You're telling me that because of this nigga, I be having to do McGraw-Hill and fuck... Yo... There's no fucking way. No, I haven't seen the Scientology video. I think I might have seen a snippet of it. But yo, nah, I ain't gonna lie, bro. If you were to tell me that she was just the daughter of the nigga who made McGraw-Hill, I would say to lock her up immediately just because of that shit then and there. Bro, fuck McGraw-Hill, my nigga. Fuck that shit. What the
made them
fuck?
the second biggest publisher of American textbooks in the late 80s and early 90s. In fact, you may have used one of his books to study in your class at school. And while it is not official that he was working for Israel or Mossad, he was a British citizen that was given a lavish funeral in a historic Israeli cemetery that was reportedly attended by the Israeli president, top Israeli intelligence officials, and the eulogy was given by their prime minister, who said that Maxwell was almost a mythological figure. Yeah,
It sounds like it. So it seems at least one thing Epstein and Maxwell had in common was having frequent contact with Israeli prime ministers. But more on that later in this episode.
He had stolen all kinds of crazy money, and then he just fell off his boat and died. And all the money went missing. No one ever found it. I've heard some interesting theories about how Epstein seems to have turned up with a very similar amount of money, basically that same year.
That would make so much sense, though.
And what happened is there was a cover-up. Epstein got a slap on the wrist. There was no one who talked to the survivors. And a lot of other rich and powerful men who he farmed out underage girls to basically have not been held accountable. Thomas Massey and I, Republican, Democrat, have said release the file. And
I think it's time to download TikTok. What do you mean it's time to download TikTok? Well, hold on, though. Wait. This man just said, apparently, whoever tried Epstein in court, they let this man slide with like probably the easiest sentence he could have gotten for this. That's number one. Number two, throughout the trial, you know, when you're supposed to be like, you know, gaining evidence, you know, investigating witnesses, victims, and all this, they weren't really looking at the victims or anything like that. Like they barely investigated them. You know, the people who would have the first-hand experience. And then on top of that, apparently this man was on sewer slide watch, and you know, apparently when you put people in cells like that, you're usually limited to what you can have, so you know, people don't. And he still did it.
called the survivors to the steps of the Capitol. For 10 years, no one had heard them. They started telling their stories. They broke down in tears.
But I wasn't the only one. None of us were.
Well, if a country can't stand up for survivors, we've lost our moral soul. If we
No,
can't
literally,
protect
bro.
children, we've lost our moral soul. This is not political. It's a moral issue. And we're going to fight to get these files released.
A lot of independents like myself cheered for Trump over Kamala because one of the things he campaigned on was releasing the Epstein files. He is now calling it a Democratic hoax. But then at the same time, he's the key contributor of an agent helping bring it down. Which one is it? Recently, Speaker of the House Mike Johnson claimed,
He kicked him out of Mar-a-Lago. He was an FBI informant to try to take this stuff down.
Then Mr. Mike Johnson changed his story to this.
If I use the right word, I said FBI informant. I'm not sure. I wasn't there. This is in my lane.
So this guy, that's third in line of the presidency, isn't sure whether Trump is an FBI informant or not. And because the White House narrative on Epstein changes so
Scared that man. They scared that man. Because there's no reason why you're that high in power and you're scared to speak about something like that. Of course, when it comes to people like that, you know, they love, you know what I mean? They love to express their power, you know, to like instill fear into people, you know, fear mongering and shit. Something iffy about this, all right? But I'm just a content creator, I'm just a reactor. So I don't know shit about none of this.
My question to Nancy Mace was, which story is it?
I hear, hey, this is a witch hunt with the media who've lied about him for years. So like, I get his frustration. They're trying to portray him as this horrible human being when he's actually not the bad guy. He's not the boogeyman in this. The boogeyman is dead. And his little black book, who knows where.
I half agree with that statement. He said the boogeyman is dead. What about Jeepers Creepers? What about Freddy Krueger? Right? What about fuck it, we'll throw in what about Chucky? There's still a lot of these very important characters that are still alive. Maybe they're not doing what the boogeyman is doing, but it's still evil as shit. I'm a Republican voter, but this shit is sketchy. Nah, literally, bro. I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna let you know right now. I am independent. I don't believe in like choosing a specific party because, you know, that leads to more division, and that's. But you know, it's like everything about this entire thing, just off the rip, and like what I've like the general knowledge that I know of, And then this shit on top of it, it's like, yo, you're definitely hiding this shit, bro.
And I do think there is a massive
And
cover-up.
there's
I
no
don't think
way
Trump
Tommy G's
has
gonna get
nothing
close
do
enough to
with it.
really
I
find
read
this
something
shit.
that 1,000 FBI agents are working around the clock to redact his name in particular.
ABC News and other outlets reported in July of 2025 that Pam Bondi allegedly told Trump that his name was in the Epstein files. Then, Senator Dick Durbin made the allegation that the FBI was having agents work around the clock to cover for Trump. Now, if the claims of Senator Durbin are true, it is disturbing to learn what lengths this administration will go to cover this story up.
We don't have 1,000 agents we can dedicate to one thing like that. They're just
So possible
impossible.
nonsense story.
Physically impossible.
We know that Trump is in the files.
What makes you sure to say that?
Hank Johnson is a Democratic congressman from Georgia.
rich
Here was
ass
his
dude,
take on the
gotta
current
be.
state of the Epstein file cover-up.
Well, because he had 1,000 FBI agents combing through the records to remove his name. The Epstein saga is not a hoax. It's not fake.
So
It
they knew
is
his
real.
name was in there.
Thousands.
My buddy who is no longer here told me so. So it did. No, yo, that is, I don't know why that's so funny, bro. Oh my gosh. I'm gonna be honest, bro. Like, as much as I would love to like generally take a dive deep into like all of this shit, bro, it makes my brain hurt when I did research. Like, even with like the past election, right? It's literally so hard to figure out what is right from wrong because everybody's saying a bunch of something. And you can never truly find the real answer. I mean, the next election is in like what, 4 years from now. By then I'll be like, shit, yeah, I'll really have to do some, like, as much as I would love to, like, you know, honestly, I would just love to be more knowledgeable, if anything. So I know, like, say I do, you know, decide, hey, I'm really gonna fucking vote this year, that I know for a fact that I'm choosing somebody who I know is gonna benefit excuse me, not only me, but a lot of people as well.
Of victims, not just from the United States of America, but from across the world.
They're not buying the bullshit. Maybe 20 years ago when somebody could go on Meet the Press and the story was controlled in a news cycle that lasted for 20 minutes with Tim Russert, you could get away with that. I don't think you can get away with that anymore.
Now they're saying, what force is so powerful that even Donald Trump is not able to release these files?
I saw that for the petition to release the files, only 4 Republicans put their name on it.
Courageous, 4 courageous Republicans.
3 of them women, Lauren Boebert,
Marjorie Taylor
MTG,
Greene, yeah.
Nancy Mace,
Yeah.
and
Massey.
Where the hell are the rest of the Republicans on this?
The
How could you
oversight- well,
possibly
the o-
vote against it?
Well, it hasn't come for a vote yet. So we just signed our names to it. Once it gets to 218 very soon, then it'll come to the floor for a vote.
Let's look more at the question of why Republicans are largely not voting to release the Epstein files. Well, first, let's consider that the Trump administration allegedly declared it to be a hostile act if they voted for the release. Interesting. To the common man, it appears most Republicans are compromising their integrity because they are intimidated or afraid of Donald Trump, allegedly.
So they
And to
using
me,
peer
the
pressure.
story of
I'll
a
be
party
24,
acting
which is
spineless to
crazy.
protect their leader
You're
instead of
20?
doing what they are supposed to do, which is represent us, their voting base, is similar to when the Democrats pretended that former President Joe Biden was not a dementia patient running for re-election. The bottom line is lying or covering for your party is
She was like a
cowardly, and we
bro. I thought she was like 25, 26, bro. There's ain't no 20 and married. I'm not gonna lie, bro. Props to you, my boy. I'm 20 to stay on my folks. Oh my god, yo, props to you, bro. Props to fucking you, my nigga. Oh my gosh. Now I really feel like I'm not doing jack shit with my life.
as Americans should
Oh
be
my
mad when
gosh.
either side does
That
this.
is actually insane, dude. Yes, bro. I don't know why I thought you. I did ask. Thought you were.
Surprisingly, we're getting one of the top Democrats, probably the top Democrat, Chuck Schumer, to speak to us. Hey.
By the way, this is the original Gilbert Stuart of George Washington.
Really?
They used it for the portrait of the dollar bill. Isn't that amazing?
This is a beautiful building to be in.
Isn't it? Yeah.
You try to pass a resolution to prompt the release of the Epstein files.
Right, we did. They don't want to vote on it, but we found a good way to force them to vote on it today, and we did. And they're squirming because so many of them have said. Mitch McConnell has said release the Epstein files. John Thune has said release the Epstein files. Marsha Blackburn has said it. Tom Johnson has said it. They've all said it. Now they get a vote, and they vote to just keep concealing it.
Why?
What the hell are they afraid of? They're either covering up for Donald Trump, who we know is worried about these files because he lied about it constantly.
Now notice how
He's
none
the
of
one
them,
who made a
all those people that he just shown, have gray hair. You don't see not a single black or like brown or non-white haired old age person in there, bro.
campaign issue out of this. He said release the Epstein files.
Him, Kash Patel, Pam
Yeah,
Bondi,
they
J.D.
all said
Vance,
it.
they all
They're
said
the
it.
ones who pushed to release the files, and frankly, a good number of people, even on the MAGA right, said release the files as well, because they thought, hey, maybe this shows that Donald Trump is part of the whole corrupt scheme that he claims to want to undo. No one believes Trump.
Damn.
So last night we met with Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer.
Nah,
and
out
they
of all
forced
of
a
them, bro,
vote
he
to
killed
try and
himself.
release
But like,
the
you know,
Epstein
the people who
files.
be like,
And,
who be voting
it
into
failed
like the
51
crazy
to
ass shit into
49.
law.
The Republicans
It's
squashed
usually
it.
some
We're gonna
people
meet
who don't even, who
our
won't even live
Wisconsin
to see
friend
it
Ron
happen.
Johnson, who voted against it. Ron, we have to have a very candid conversation here because 2 years ago, you told me you wanted to release the file.
Do you believe that there's anything fishy about the death of Jeffrey Epstein?
Well, certainly it's fishy. The cover-up of the list of individuals that visited Epstein Island
Doesn't that seem crazy?
is pretty fishy. I will say, I think this is true, is mainly people of the left that Jeffrey Epstein was courting and that took advantage of his island pleasures.
Don't you feel like anyone that's on that list should be looked into?
Well, I think we should have a full investigation of Jeffrey Epstein and his activities.
Does it feel like it's been kind of brushed under the rug?
Yes, because it has been.
We're going to find more of that out in just a few minutes here. Now is the time for a few good men to come to the aid of their country. Hello. How are you? Good. I'm Tommy. I'm here for an interview with Mr. Johnson. And then look, I mean, who knows? This might be true, but otherwise this is the culture war is getting fanned with this. I wonder if a foreign country would like it if we were divided about that kind of stuff.
All right, well, let's get you in.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you. Hey there. Mr. Johnson.
Tommy, how you doing?
Good to see you again, man.
Nice to see you.
How are you? 2 years ago, when we met, we talked about releasing the Epstein files. Last night, I was shocked to hear there was a resolution on the floor, and it didn't pass. You voted against it, 49 to 51, against releasing the Epstein files.
Well, I understand. That was a poison pill in a process of trying to pass the National Defense Authorization Act. First of all, I'm as curious as anybody.
Morning. How are you? I'm Tommy. Nice to meet you guys. Where would you like us to set up?
I think y'all are going to be in the conference room.
Hey.
My good
An
lord.
actual honor. My name's Tommy. Nice to meet you.
I think one of the things that really annoys people is they think, well, maybe some rich people don't have the same justice. I'm just an ordinary person. I live in a middle class home, but this really rich guy can do stuff, that if I did, I'd go to jail. And I think that's the way I look at the Epstein thing. I don't have any facts about it. I'm not consumed by it. But at the same time, I think that there's a perception out there that wealthy people got away with stuff and that something's being hidden.
So you started out talking about Epstein. It's certainly not my priority, but let's start out, truthfully. Let's start out and talk about what happened yesterday. What happened to Charlie Kirk dwarfs, the Epstein file is dwarfed by the implications of what happened.
Senator Johnson, I agree with all of these points. I agree, but I do feel like we are derailing from the Epstein file. You had...
We'll get to the Epstein files. I don't have that much to say about them because I don't know anything about them.
Then why did you...
Hold on. What was that stutter?
Let's start out.
What was that stutter?
Let's start out and talk about what happened yesterday. What happened to Charlie Kirk dwarfs, the Epstein file is dwarfed by the implications of what happened.
This man spent 5 minutes. He knew what Tommy came here for, was to talk about the Epstein stuff, right? And then starts yapping about a whole nother. Oh my gosh! I think the people that went to the island got. You think?
I agree with all of these points. I agree, but I do feel like we are derailing from the Epstein file. You had
That stutter. I ain't gonna lie. That stutter. Oh my. See, a nigga doesn't stutter like that unless you catch them in a lie or in a way that they're trying to cover up something. That is I am stumbled. Damn, I thought this was gonna work. Stutter. Oh, the worst part about the vid is Tommy is drinking. Oh my gosh. I'm not gonna lie. I think I've had Prime like one time. It was all right, but it like literally, I feel so old saying this. It tasted too sugary. Like, don't get me like, bro. Literally, I'm drinking I drank a fucking Pepsi on stream and shit. Like, I love sugar, but that shit. What he's supposed to be lying about? Well, so the thing is, wait, what's his name again? Fuck, I forgot.
Do you believe that there's anything fishy about the death of Jeffrey Epstein? Squashed it, and it failed. 51 to 49, the Republicans squashed it. We're gonna meet with our Wisconsin friend Ron Johnson, who.
Ron Johnson. That's. Where does he lean? Okay, he's a Republican. Yeah, I can already see how this went. So apparently what's been like speculated is like anybody who's like in a high power that like stands against like, stands with putting out the Epstein files, is that I guess Trump apparently will like he'll like, intimidate them into changing their mind and swinging it. And that, I'm not gonna lie, it kind of sounds like what happened, and I wouldn't knock it as something. I'm drinking Mountain Dew every day. Okay, nah. Mountain Dew is a stretch though. Like that shit. I'm not gonna lie. I used to drink that a lot, but whenever I drink it, it literally feels like acid, bro. I can't drink that. Prime is more healthy than Gatorade though. There's no way in hell that shit. Nah, bro. I don't even drink. Listen, I don't drink sports drinks. Literally, 90% of my liquid intake is water. Celsius, milk, and honestly, that's it. Before I add in all the like concoctions and shit. I'll check it in a second. Bro, we're only like 20 minutes into this video and I've been recording for an hour already.
I'm as curious as anybody.
More. How are you? I'm Tommy. Nice to meet you guys.
Ain't nothing but snow in there.
I think y'all are going to be in the conference room.
Hello. Hey, an absolute honor. My name's Thomas. Nice to meet you.
I think one of the things that really annoys people is they think, well, maybe some rich people don't have the same justice. I'm just an ordinary person. I live in a middle class home, but this really rich guy can do stuff, that if I did, I'd go to jail. And I think that's the way I look at the Epstein thing. I don't have any facts about it. I'm not consumed by it. But at the same time, I think that there's a perception out there that wealthy people got away with stuff and that something's being hidden.
So you started out talking about Epstein. It's certainly not my priority, but let's start out, truthfully. Let's start out talking about what happened yesterday. What happened to Charlie Kirk is what happened.
Senator Johnson, I agree with all the points.
Yeah, we'll get to the Epstein files. I don't have that much to say about them because I don't know anything about them.
Then why did you vote against releasing it?
Because that was a charade. That was a poison pill trying to derail the passage of the National Defense Authorization Act. The Epstein files really derailed the passage of the National Defense Authorization charade. That was a poison pill trying to derail the passage of the National Defense Authorization Act.
The National Defense Authorization Act, or the NDAA, is a comprehensive package of United States federal laws passed annually to specify the budget, expenditures, and policies for the U.S. military. The House and Senate have both passed their respective versions of the fiscal and the bills are now heading towards the conference committee. No. What? Wait. So, in September 2025, an amendment was filed to the NDAA by Senate Democratic leader Chuck Schumer. The amendment, titled the Epstein Files Transparency Act, aims to force the Justice Department to release all records and documents related to Jeffrey Epstein. The Senate ultimately defeated the amendment. There are multiple legislative efforts referred to as the Epstein Act that are independent. One version of the Epstein Files Transparency Act, 25. Oh my gosh. Hold on. So there was no way for them to because you can't put in releasing a fucking file with a budget. So this man, I might be wrong, but it sounds like he's bullshitting right now.
The Epstein files will eventually get released, okay?
We followed up with a couple Senate offices to see if they knew what Ron Johnson meant by this poison pill theory he's talking about, and they were just as confused as we were.
You spoke with some of those victims last week. What can you tell the American people what you learned in that meeting?
I was moved to tears.
Well, I think my face showed it all. I left the meeting early in tears. It was just really, I'm going through something that's very raw and very similar. I'm about just under 2 years into my own trauma. I want to say that these women are very, very brave.
Can I ask you a question about that?
Yeah, sure.
So how does it feel to have your whole party turning against you, to have the president turning against you, to have all this political power coming to bear on you just for trying to hold accountable in our government?
Well, as long as I've got the people back home for me and the people out in the country for me, that's okay. I've never tried to make it my priority to worry about my friendships here. I think half the reason people are motivated to keep them secret is embarrassment.
We are looking at the most blatant cover-up. The dumbest lies are being used. Are you not sure that there's something fishy going on?
I think there's something very fishy going on. And then you had one of the victims that died recently,
Virginia Giuffre.
According to Trump's own words, Virginia Giuffre appears to be a key part of why he and Epstein had a falling out, and we'll cover this more in detail later in the episode.
I'm happy to try and extract those from the government. Yesterday's vote wasn't the time to do it.
Okay. The Wall Street Journal published what may or may not be a birthday card from Donald Trump to Jeffrey Epstein. They're known friends, known associates, many photos together, but Trump is suing them for $10 billion for known published
and extract those from the government. Yesterday's vote wasn't the time to do it.
Okay. The Wall Street Journal published what may or may
This Congress releases alleged 2003 birthday letter from Trump to Jeffrey Epstein. The message inserted into a sketch of it's part of a book of birthday notes compiled by Epstein's associate Ghislaine Maxwell. The U.S. president has issued repeated denials that the letter exists. Voiceover. There must be more to life than having everything, Donald. Now there is, but I won't tell you what it is. Jeffrey and Nikolai share have certain things in common, Jeffrey. Yes, we don't count on. I can't even read that shit.
may not be a birthday card from Donald Trump to Jeffrey Epstein. They're known friends, known associates, many photos together, but Trump is suing them for $10 billion for defamation and other reasons. Is that
a threat to freedom of speech to sue someone $10 billion for publishing something?
First of all, I think President Trump is involved in something like 3,000 lawsuits in business.
Unbelievable.
I mean, it's what he does, you know.
For a guy who keeps talking about free speech, free speech, free speech, free speech, he's awfully sensitive when the speech is a speech he doesn't like.
Just what I've just read is that, you know, 3 forensic handwriting analysts say that is not Trump.
Well, I tracked down the survivors' lawyers, and we went to Epstein's estate, and we said, okay, send us this birthday book. And lo and behold, the birthday book existed. They sent us the birthday book, and it turns out that there was Donald Trump's letter.
On the day we were in D.C. covering the story, the Wall Street Journal republished what they claimed was a birthday card from Donald Trump to Jeffrey.
You have certain things. Comment, Jeffrey, yes, we do. Come to think of it, Donald, enigmas never age. Have you noticed that?
In response, Trump filed
As a matter of fact, it was clear to me that the last time I saw
a
you.
$10 billion defamation lawsuit against the Journal, saying that it caused him, quote, overwhelming financial and reputational harm. And folks, this seems to be the Trump family playbook. If you print something they don't like, they might just hit you with a massive, almost impossibly big lawsuit. I mean, just recently, Melania Trump sued Hunter Biden for over $1 billion over a claim that Epstein introduced her to Donald Trump. Allegedly. And it then occurred to me that Trump might sue me for this very episode. So I called my lawyer to get his take.
Tommy G.
How you doing, man?
Good, how are you?
I'm now getting a little bit scared that I'm gonna get sued.
I don't fucking know. Maybe like next thing. Alexa, when did Jeffrey Epstein die? He died in 2019.
Trump's for an obscene amount of money.
Well, just always say it's been said, it's been alleged. We don't have, like much of this, we don't have factual support, but it's been, you know, some have the opinion that. Just couch what you're saying.
And then what if I still do that and he still sues me?
Well, that'd be great for your career.
You don't think he'll win?
No.
So it's a nonsense lawsuit just to scare people.
Yep.
And would it get thrown out by most reasonable
Yeah, I'm
people?
saying. Well, the girl who was his accomplice got convicted, I think officially in like 2021 for another crime or something. I don't know.
This brings us to the bigger issue of free speech. If publications and journalists are scared into silence or sued into bankruptcy, this sets a dangerous precedent for journalism in this country. And in fact, a week after these interviews were filmed, Trump has now also sued the New York Times for $15 billion, also for defamation. So before I comment more on this Epstein story, first a quick disclaimer.
In case Donald Trump or his lawyers see this, I just want to make it absolutely clear that his signature
why is this
on the
man on
birthday
his
card
knees, bro?
is totally fake, and it's fake news. And so just to show you how fake it is, we're going to compare it to real signatures from Donald Trump. Here, you guys can see it for yourself. Now that we've conclusively proved that it's not real, let's move on to another subject. Are they being blackmailed, threatened, extorted?
Who's controlling this? What are the powerful interests? Well, that's
Extorted?
a question. Who's controlling this? What are the powerful interests? Why is there?
He's trying to make it
such a
look like he's scared. He's trying to play it
release
off.
it? It's like they're making it a bigger story every day that they don't release it.
Would he be acting in a way where he is hiding something?
It's hard to explain. From a technical
Why is this man posted up with this? Like you can't. Why is he? Why does he look like your uncle? I don't know. You tell me. But Tommy got a hit on him from Scientology and Trump. Bro, no. You know what?
It's hard to.
I've heard a lot of stuff about Scientology.
From a technical perspective, I don't think there's anything that he needs to avoid. That technical information is available.
He's saying it's a nothing story,
and it's a hoax. Do you believe that?
I believe that there are Democrats that are using it as a wedge, as a political wedge,
Yeah.
and they're trying to infer that he's a nefarious person. I do think that that is part of what he's describing when he says hoax. I don't think nobody thinks that these women are lying.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody does, absolutely nobody.
I think it's hard to look at this situation and say, yeah, Donald Trump is being very transparent and he's not trying to bury this. He's trying to say that when people ask him in a press conference, like, why are you even asking about this? How dare you? This is old news.
Are you still talking about Jeffrey Epstein? This guy's been talked about for years. Are people still talking about this guy, this creep? That is unbelievable.
Do you think these files should be
We're
released?
talking about him
completely
because the
unredacted?
files ain't getting released. Like, this is literally information that would provide more clarification on what exactly would happen, his connections, and all this shit. But it's not getting released. It's like,
For all
what the
of us to
fuck?
see.
Well, yes, I believe in full disclosure of the files, releasing all the names, everything, but we would need to ensure that we redact for any child sexual abuse material or CCM underage kids.
Sure.
And that we would redact the names of victims. So that would be my only caveat to that. Yes, release it all. And for that, I'm on the bill. I've signed the discharge petition, and I will be voting for the bill when it comes to the floor of the House in a couple of weeks.
And we applaud you for that. Honestly,
I took the Scientology test with my buddy's info, so technically he's a registered Scientologist. Yo, what the fuck is wrong with you, bro? You're genuinely why? Is this a sign of gamble? Shit. It's always a sign of gamble, my nigga. We ain't got bro, unless you're a nepo baby or like we're given like or have God given talent, you're cooked, bro. You might as well gamble and see if you could win big. No cap. The fuck?
it's refreshing to see people.
Don't
going
gamble,
for
though.
some
I ain't gonna
friends.
lie,
So people
gambling
are
is the
very
worst thing you
happy
can
that
do.
You're doing that. Let's talk facts about the relationship between Donald Trump and Jeffrey Epstein. He previously said, "I don't know the guy."
Oh, come on.
Yeah.
Don't know the guy, but you're flicking up with him.
Have you ever had a personal relationship
what?
with Donald Trump?
What do you mean by personal relationships?
Have you socialized with him?
Yes, sir.
Yes?
Yes, sir.
Have you ever socialized with Donald Trump in the presence of females under the age of 18?
Though I'd like to answer that question, at least today, I'm going to have to assert my 5th, 6th, and 14th Amendment rights, sir.
So there are 5 people. Technically, he did invoke the 5th Amendment right. He did invoke it. But why though? Technically, him bringing up the 5th Amendment is not wrong, but it's like you answered the previous question just fine. But when asked if you've been hanging around with him while you were with a minor, shit ain't adding up.
The 5th Amendment, like you see on the mob, right? You see the mob takes the 5th. If you're innocent, why are you taking the 5th Amendment?
I know I'm not friends with any professional sex traffickers or pedophiles. I think like when you're, this to me is suspicious.
That's good, Chino.
Of you said you didn't know the guy.
Wait, as a matter of fact, it's clear to me the last time I saw you, a pal is a wonderful thing. Happy birthday, and fuck, I cannot read that shit. Every day be another wonderful secret. Oh my god.
tired of it? I mean, he's.
Bro, I ain't gonna lie, bro. I am tired as fuck, bro. Like I've deadass been live for like what, 7 hours? Oh
He's
my
been
god.
photographed with him. I mean, they.
Yeah, we were tired during the Biden administration of lies. A lot of us, especially independents, were like, man, this is the time that the veil is actually gonna get peeled back. The JFK files, the Epstein files. There's gonna be transparency.
Yeah, I'll be live
Targeted
tomorrow,
by the
7
justice
p.m.
system is
EST.
now gonna-
I think it's gonna be like what, 8 o'clock
and
for
it
you?
seems like to the average person watching this that our very own
But
president is part
can
of
we
it.
at least agree a birthday card, as gross as that is, has nothing to do with trafficking? I mean, there's no.
No, not at all. But he says he didn't know the guy. You knew the guy.
Well, aside from the numerous photos that they've had together, aside from the new reporting about the birthday book and the letters that he sent to him that's coming out.
Allegedly.
Aside from all of the statements from both of them that they were very close friends, aside from everyone that saw them hanging out together all through the 80s, aside from all that, yeah, we don't really know.
Why specifically did Trump and Epstein have a falling out, apparently?
Trump claims that Epstein took staff from his spa. took Virginia Giuffre and maybe others from his hotel.
And how old was Virginia at this time?
I believe
21 on July. Nigga, you got a whole nother year, bro. Yeah, I'll be playing some more. Don't lie, bro. Bro, minor or not, why are you mad that he took your workers? Like that's literally like, and how would that even be possible that he's like, it's like the more you go into this video, have a good night, my boy. The more you go into this video, the more you're just like, damn. You're not making this like, you're not even somewhat proving that you're innocent. You're just making things
16
worse.
at the time that she was taken from the spot. I don't know for sure. I know that she was 17 with Andrew. When you're talking about victims, like it feels like it matters extra to tell their story as truly as you can to what they said, because of everything they've gone through, and especially Virginia, who not only went through the recruitment, the grooming, the abuse for years, but also everything since, and the bravery to tell the story and to, in one way or another, give her life to the story and to the victims in general to expose this. We owe her a great deal. I can't imagine that two dudes as close as Trump and Epstein were back then, that are into the evil things that Epstein was definitely into, and the questionable things that Donald Trump has openly talked about having been into.
Such as?
Such as pageantry, such as walking into the dressing rooms at his pageants while they are changing.
Donald Trump loves a beauty pageant. And by his own admission, he was no stranger backstage while owning parts of 3 different pageants for nearly 2 decades.
So they're standing there with no clue. Is everybody okay? And you see these incredible looking women. And so I sort of get away with things like that.
I find it hard to imagine that they're breaking up their whole friendship because one of them was trying to recruit employees from a spa.
Wait, which guy are you talking
Everyone has their own
about?
theories, but I suspect that Trump is implicated in the files in some ways. And that doesn't even necessarily mean that he committed a crime. Doesn't mean that he ever had sex with a minor. Doesn't mean they have him on camera doing anything. It could just mean that he did business deals alongside these people over the years.
Folks, when I hear about the mysterious and nefarious character of Jeffrey Epstein, it makes me wonder what he was like in person. In 2002, Trump said, quote, "He's a great guy." But Melinda Gates, who met him once, described her meeting with him like this.
He was abhorrent. He was evil personified. I had nightmares about it afterwards.
In fact, her husband Bill Gates' relationship with Epstein was so disturbing that it was a key reason she ended her marriage of 27 years to one of the world's richest men. And because Trump...
Are you talking about this dude?
considered Epstein to be a great guy and even invited him to a second wedding in 1993, I was curious what caused Trump to stop being pals with Epstein. Here's what Trump said about it.
But I said, if he's taking anybody from Mar-a-Lago, he's hiring or whatever he's doing, I didn't like it.
Other people would come and complain, this guy is taking people from the spa. I didn't know that. And then when I heard about it, I told him, I said, listen, we don't want you taking our people, whether it was spa or not spa. He was
not gonna lie,
fine, and
bro.
then not too long
more
after
tired
that,
than
he
I
did it
thought,
again, and I said, out of here.
Did one of those stolen, persons, does that include Virginia Jeffrey?
I don't know. I think she worked at the spa.
Another theory on Trump and
You
Epstein
think?
falling out speculates that it was a bidding war on a 60,000 square foot mansion that contributed towards the end of their friendship, allegedly.
So hypothetically, you could speculate on the Epstein files.
Hypothetically, I could say that one could name names, the names that everybody wants to know.
But from what you've seen, is President Trump implicated in the files?
I don't know. If there was something in there that was damning to him as a man, let alone candidate,
I mean,
I think that shit would have.
It might be just the sun and shit, bro. We in Florida. I mean,
during the criminal
we're still in summer,
trials,
bro. It's hot as fuck.
I think the Democrats would have gotten it out if there was something there.
Mike Yeagley brings up a point that a lot of Republicans have also said, which is why is it that much of the mainstream media and many of the Democrats seemingly refuse to cover Epstein and Trump's relationship until now? It doesn't make sense to me either. If the files are so damaging to Trump, why didn't the left unleash this on him during the election cycle, which surely would have been the strategic move? Or is it possible that the damage the Epstein files will cause is so great to both Democrats and Republicans that both sides are too scared for the files to truly come out. I'd love to hear your theory in the comments.
I try to avoid the Trump side of it because there is a whole rabbit hole to go.
Alexa, how tall is Jeffrey Epstein? Damn.
Go down on Trump, of his history with people like.
Bro, I was already on
history
tour
with
for 6
Epstein,
hours. I'm not
history
getting
with
on.
these business deals and with these pageants and all these things. But ultimately, I care more about the Epstein files themselves because they're way bigger than Trump. It's not just Trump that's implicated. It's our entire government. It's our entire deep state apparatus.
Allegedly.
That's the thing about blackmail is you don't know who's controlled. You don't know who's compromised. We don't know how many strings are being pulled.
If you had to speculate, what kinds of people are on this list as far as the positions they hold?
A bunch of rich ass people.
I think you would see high-profile media types, university presidents, CEOs beyond those that have already been called out, actors, rappers. You might see a religious figure here and there.
Do you think foreign intelligence operatives are involved in this?
I do.
Can you speak more about how this could be a honeypot operation?
I think a lot of Americans don't have a strong understanding of how blackmail works because it's not something that we deal with in our regular lives. And I think that a lot of Americans are starting to think about it more and understand it more. And most people arrive at the very surface level first and they think that's the whole story. You'd think it's like, oh, you get them on camera having sex with a minor and then you own them and they do everything you tell them to. And ultimately, that's not the only form of blackmail or honeypot that works. And ultimately, it's never that simple. Everyone does things in their life that they're ashamed of, that they would rather be able to take back. But that blackmail that you have from your past baggage, it never goes away. And so as you achieve a position of power later in life, you bring all that baggage with you, for better and for worse. And if anyone can find it and exploit it, then maybe you are about to work for that.
Do you think it's likely that Jeffrey Epstein was part of an intelligence agency and this was a honeypot operation to compromise people with blackmail?
I think that every option is on the table. I think it's an absolute possibility. I think, you know, I've never seen a honeypot operation, but I've heard stories of honeypot operation.
Actually, so I ran it with I put it into my FAO, actually. I put it in into my Tatra kit, and then I died to a 3-stack of Tatras. Yeah, man.
And
why'd I turn the lights off? Because they're making my fucking eyes hurt, bro. Listen, as soon as this video's done, I'm laying in that fucking bed.
That show up and all these things go on. You have to think to yourself, we're not that stupid or that gullible. Somebody's filming something somewhere and gonna hold it over someone's head for some deal. I would be shocked if that does not go on.
Now this is the infamous jet, the Lolita Express, that some of the most influential and powerful people in the world took this jet to places like his island, where they did unspeakable things with minors. And this was likely part of the whole blackmail operation. Bro. But let me draw your attention to.
I got an A as well kit with AP.
How did Epstein get this jet? Well, he bought it from none other than our friend Leslie Wexner, the guy that owns Victoria's Secret. And not only did he buy the jet from him, but he also happened to be this billionaire's financial advisor, even though Jeffrey Epstein got fired from Wall Street. What qualifications did Epstein have to advise billionaires on their financial assets? I don't know. It doesn't make sense.
Who is Leslie Wexner?
Leslie Wexner is one of the wealthiest and most powerful Jewish Zionist philanthropists. And
let me tell y'all a story real quick. Now, before I say this, I'm reacting this way. Yes, because he said that he was Jewish. When I was at work one time, I remember I was ringing up this dude, right? He had a yarmulke. All right, you knew he was Jewish. His last name, the same as my hometown. Damn. Jewish guy comes in with the yarmulke, right? I'm ringing him out, and I ask him, I'm going through my whole, my script. I'm like, hey, how you doing? Da da da. And then I ask him, you have a phone number with us, of course, type it in, da 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 da. Now, before I can process the transaction, I press a button and then it'll pop up like a little donation screen. I'll be like, all right. And then it's going to ask if you want to donate. The dude fucking laughs, right? Obviously he's not going to donate, whatever. I don't give a fuck if people, whether or not people donate or not. It's like, I could give two fucks. All right. But when I tell you, like, this was not coincidental, bro. After I showed him, like, yo, I was gonna ask you want to donate, he hit skip. He's like, oh, he snickers a little bit. He's like, oh, maybe I should do that. I should start walking around asking people for money. When I tell you, the biggest fucking grin on my face, bro, and I'm trying so hard not to laugh. Like, when people be talking about how, like, Jewish people are, like, they kind of have this thing with money, bro. It's situations like that reinforces those said stereotypes. And then for it to be this multi-billionaire who works on Wall Street and whatever, and who was a financial advisor, for him to be this rich and he's a Jewish guy, it's just like, it just reinforced. I don't want to say that part of it is like a stereotype, but it almost like reinforces like the state of power that certain people have. Demographic, if that makes any sense.
Multi-billionaire. He lives in Ohio. He's from Ohio, and he founded L Brands, which is best known for Victoria's Secret. It's also Bath and Body Works. It's also Hollister, Abercrombie and Fitch. It's a whole bunch of these brands. Leslie Wexner had Jeffrey Epstein managing basically his whole estate for over a decade.
Wow.
He later claimed that Jeffrey stole money from him and that he didn't know anything about what Jeffrey Epstein was up to, because it's plausibly deniable because he had signed over power of attorney. So Jeffrey Epstein could have done anything and he would never have known. So it's awfully coincidental. And then it's also coincidental that his other giant company, Hollister, Abercrombie and Fitch, that was run by a pedophile too. He put in his guy, Mike Jeffries, when he bought Abercrombie and Fitch in, I believe, 98 or late 90s. He put in Mike Jeffries as his CEO to turn the company around. And Abercrombie bought Hollister. They started targeting more young people. They launched all of the fashion catalogs for the young male model thing. And it turns out that CEO that he put in was running a giant male sexual pedophile ring.
Like, literally everything is so fucking connected, bro.
He was flying these young male models to like go and have crazy orgies with all sorts of messed up shit going on all around the world. And that guy just got popped last year, and they wrapped it up with the insanity defense because he has Alzheimer's and he can't remember. So it's just kind of weird that Leslie Wexner, who was the bankroll behind Jeffrey Epstein, had two different running two of his giant fashion brands in the modeling industry.
No
and no one's ever asked a single
fucking
question. He's still a
way.
billionaire living in a mansion in Ohio, and he's completely free.
Do you see any overlap between the Epstein story and Israel?
I don't know, because I don't know what the files are. So there are some people who have alleged that Mossad is involved or that there are a foreign intelligence involved.
There's gotta be,
What I
bro.
do know
There's
from
gotta
Bradley
be.
Edwards, the lawyer of the victims, is he says that there are foreign actors involved.
Now you might be wondering who some of the shadowy figures leaving Epstein's house masked up are. Well, that's none other than former Israeli Prime Minister Ehud Barak. What was he doing there?
We have recent email leaks from Ehud Barak that is his entire email inbox from almost a year's worth of time, and they communicated almost every day, often multiple times.
You thought his name was Leslie Wagner?
Basically
Is it
everything
not?
that they were doing.
The rich Jewish dude is Leslie
There's a
Wagner.
whole year of time where Ehud Barak's known visits to Epstein were monthly on a schedule. Most people were visiting Epstein in what seemed like a leisure sense, but Ehud Barak was visiting him on a regular schedule. And he was also sneaking in and out of Epstein's mansion in disguise. Jeffrey Epstein referred not just Ehud Barak, but also Benjamin Netanyahu to JP Morgan. That's the current Prime Minister of Israel. Why is a random lone referring the current Prime Minister of Israel to JP Morgan?
Allegedly.
Oh, that's very well proven.
I'm scared of getting sued
Yeah.
again.
Yo, there is
One theory we
so
heard
much.
is
Yo,
that,
my brain
Trump's
like
not in the
actually
files in a
hurts,
bad way,
dude.
But the reason that he's protecting it is because the fallout could be so great that it could collapse governments, it could collapse things.
So and I've stated this on 9/11 as well. It's the Jack Nicholson, that comment. Can you handle the truth?
You want answers! I want the truth! You can't handle the truth!
It's a legitimate responsibility of leader to take a look at something and go,
Wexner?
this is probably
He literally said
better
Wagner.
kept hidden.
It's possible that what he is protecting or trying to avoid would be a crisis, considering hypothetically, who is probably involved.
So you think no matter who this impacts, we should go after them?
Absolutely.
Damn right y'all should.
You and other Republicans, if top Republicans were named on the Epstein file, would you guys be willing to take care of them and to make sure that they are
I think
answered for their
regardless of
crimes?
party, if you're a child rapist, you should see capital punishment. You should get the death penalty.
Americans can handle the truth.
Wasn't ready for that one, but yeah, I agree. But what the fuck?
I think we will pass the House, which is a huge issue, with the MAGA House passing it. And I think there'll be a lot of momentum to pass it in the Senate. But then Donald Trump can veto it.
What are the implications if we don't release the Epstein files?
When John F. Kennedy was president, trust in America was 60%. Today it's in the teens. People don't believe the government's working for them. People believe the rich and powerful don't have accountability. People believe that the whole thing is rigged. And they elected Trump partly to unrig it. And now they see 7 months in, he's part of the whole swamp. If we don't have the release, we're going to continue to erode trust in self-government.
The main thing about Epstein that everyone should know right now is that we don't need the files. The files are in many ways meaningless. Yes, it would be great to have our law enforcement agencies doing their job and investigating the case and looking for evidence to take down people that were involved, whether they were co-conspirators or whether they were clients, so to speak. We don't need them, and we don't need those files because we already have in the public domain way more than enough to prosecute many people that were involved, to interview at least many more, and they're all just out there walking free.
Folks, one of the coolest things about being an American is by questioning the narrative, questioning our government, demanding truth, and not being afraid to speak out about anything. Part of American history, if you go all the way back to the Boston Tea Party, is questioning a government that we view to be tyrannical. And this government has decades of lying under its belt, both Republican and Democrat. They owe it to us. We are the ones that foot the bill. We are the ones that can't afford health care, housing, food on the table, while these people are protecting a billionaire sex trafficking pedophile ring. So folks, I say to you, read as many books as you can. Get in the gym and get in fighting shape. Get ready to rumble, because if shit needs to hit the fan, you better be ready. Folks, this is Tommy G. I love my life, I love you, and I love this country. Signing off, see you next week.
Oh yeah. Very shady. What the fuck is this nigga doing? That shit. I'm not gonna lie, bro. It's like, damn. Just damn, bro. Like I've always known not to trust the government, and for like most things anyways. But it's like watching that, it just shows like it really explains further. Like you literally, like you seen how, what was the guy, Ron Johnson, and there was another guy too, where they were literally, you know, they were Republican and they were you know, they were with the whole let's release the files. This man, I'm gonna call him T-Rump. This man T-Rump uses fucking conquerors hockey to instill fear into them, and then they change their mind. Like, yo, if that ain't blackmail, no, maybe not blackmail, but like just intimidation of itself is fucking insane, dude. And then you got the guy who just, when he got caught, like, you know, rambling and shit and not talking about the topic that Tommy G specifically came here for. Now, granted, it was, you know, it was important somewhat, yes. He caught him on it, and then he just starts stuttering. Real life stuttering. Tampering with the witness. Literally, like, real life stuttering about it. You got the people who literally had to witness that shit and were victims of it not be investigated. The people who were affiliated with it damn near not be investigated, except for like what, his closest accomplice. And she got what, 20 years? She might be 65, but 20 years. And even then, it took y'all like what? Okay, so they did the raid in 2019. Okay, so that makes more sense now. Why do I feel like we've been talking about Jeffrey Epstein for the fucking longest, bro? Like since I was like 12. That's insane to me, bro.